Kansas City Chiefs are in the middle of building a dynasty. Now, before they were able to win their next AFC championship this past weekend in Baltimore, before the game, there was some pregame activities between Justin Tucker, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. I believe Blaine Gabbert was also in the ballpark if it all taking place. I chatted about it on Monday about how, like, this is kind of something that does take place where kickers, punters are, in the pre-workout, able to kind of work the field, find out what they're doing. Justin Tucker's probably been doing this routine for a very long time, but there is like a conversation that normally takes place like, hey, you're the quarterback. Do you need this? Yeah, all right, we'll move like 2 yards, 3 yards here. It has happened before with Vinatieri. It has happened before with numerous kickers. Now, granted, Justin Tucker, different than everybody, though. Yeah. This is greatest of all time. This guy's first ballot Hall of Famer. Absolute stud. So, the internet immediately buried Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes for bullying a kicker. Justin Tucker is never going to get bullied. Justin Tucker's greatest of all time and a dog. He came out and said he thought we were playing around. Well, now we got an answer from Patrick Mahomes on the entire situation. He went on a local radio station there in Kansas City, and this is what he had to say about the entire situation.
I've had like 7 years of kind of doing that same warm-up routine, and there's only been, I think, like 3 occasions where there's been a kicker that wasn't, because you usually talk to the guys, there had been a kicker that wasn't necessarily moving out the way, or you weren't kind of sharing the field in the right way, and I mean, it was in Baltimore all 3 times. So he does that little stuff, I think, to try to get under our skin. And I asked him to move his stuff, and he got up and moved it, I think, 2 inches, but didn't move it out of the way. And I was going to kind of let it slide, but Travis kind of got it and moved it for me. And then after that, I wasn't going to let him put it back down. So it's something that we move on. I mean, I have a lot of respect for him as a player and as a kicker. One of the best kickers of all time, probably the best kicker of all time, but at the same time, you got to have respect for each team, and we all share the field, and we try to do that in a respectful way.
Yeah, so I've been doing this for 7 years. There's only been 3 situations, and all of them are in Baltimore. So that was Pat. How am I going to address this? Pat thought before going into that interview. He was like, I would just like to let everybody know there's only one place where this is a thing, which adds the allure of Justin Tucker, by the way.
Yeah,
a little bit of a menace, a little bit of a pest, absolute dog at kicking a ball. Travis Kelce also responded on his New Heights podcast, and he had a little bit different descriptors of Justin Tucker, I'd say.
But we're warming up, and we do our same warm-up every single time on our side of the field. For those of you that don't know what happens in pre-games, the Ravens have their side of the field, and the Chiefs have our side of the field. Now, specialists, because of like the win factor and
they go to
where
both
you are,
sides
they get a chance to kick at both field goals and kind of punt from both sides of the field. But it's always, if you're trying to go onto the other team's designated area, you kind of stay out of their way. You don't interfere with what they have going on.
That is the unwritten rule.
That's the unwritten rule. If you want to be a dick about it, you keep your helmet and your football and your kicking tee right where the quarterbacks are warming up, and they're dropping. Eyes are looking left, and they got a helmet down by their feet.
It's actually kind of dangerous, really.
Very dangerous.
Like, if you're not going to pick that up, I'll happily move that for you. Justin came out, and he said it was more of a joking gesture and kind of a fun competitive, and I get it. I mean, he was kind of winking at me, like being a dick about it, like trying to get under the skin.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing.
I get it, but
he got under your skin a little bit.
Me and Pat, we've been having the same mentality for this game all week long, man.
Yeah.
And it was you got to go in there and have the right mind frame. Have the right mindset, and we just weren't in a joking mood. We were ready to get after it. And so, Justin, sorry if we took it to a level that you didn't think it'd get to that way, but if you're going to be a dick, I promise you I can one-up you every time.
Ohio guy at the end of the day. I appreciate the bygones be bygones, we move on. But that is kind of just standard operating procedure on that field before the game even starts, AQ.
Absolutely. And you see it with O-line, D-line. You see linebackers that are at midfield. You see, somebody go over there, DB going over and like running through receivers line. You see Nick Bosa get a sack and he runs back through the offensive line huddle, right? And like the dudes are just grabbing him, pushing him away. Like there's gamesmanship within the game.
Now,
right?
With that being said, I think what Travis Kelce alluded to there is something that we thought we saw as well about how bullying the bully. They went in with the mindset, hey, we're not joking around. The whole week they were doing that. I appreciate that their entire team was doing it. Those are 2 goats right there. Like, hey, we're not in a joking around mood here. We are coming in here pregame entrance into the stadium. If you saw Travis walking, all black, like the way he was walking, it was like they were legitimately, I don't want to say in character, but in zone, in mode of like, if we want to beat Baltimore, we're going to have to come in here and really handle it. I love hearing that type of stuff. That's how they were looking.
And they had to do it the week before in Buffalo. And then you've been talking about M&P, the bank, in that environment all year long pretty much. And he's going into it. You got to have that mindset. And he showed it. That first drive of the game, him and Patrick going down the field, him making that back shoulder catch. Obviously, this was going to be a game where it wasn't going to be a bunch of points scored, so that was obviously critically important. So that carried over right to that beginning of the game. I mean, I loved that little. Yeah. I love right there. Loved every bit of that.
Yeah,
even from Tucker's side, though.
Yes.
Him being an asshole, 12-year vet, GOAT, every time you come in here, it's going to be a little bullshit.
Hey, will you move the helmet? And he goes, yeah. I moved it.
Sorry.
All right, I ain't got time for Tucker. Patrick Mahomes just being like, God, are you in his head, I assume he was thinking, is this guy serious? This can't be serious right now. And then Travis Kelce getting so offended by it and in the mode where he wants to fight everybody. But I assume he knows Tucker very well. Can't fight it.
Yeah.
Get this the hell out of here. And at the end, if you want to be a dick, I can one-up you every single time. Love hearing that Travis Kelce's still a dog. Because he's on 100 commercials.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy's on top of the world. Number one podcast on earth. And what I do like, and this is a little thing, and I assume not everybody feels this way, but that show has gone to the top of the world. Still swears.
Oh, yeah.
Still the same.
They still, you know what I mean? Like, they're not pandering to anybody. They have remained the same exact people through this whole thing. And I think that's why I enjoy who Travis is as a human, who Jason is as a human. And every time I hear them talk about stuff, I'm like, that seems like a reasonable take on it. Every time I hear them talk about anything, I'm like, that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, Ohio folk are just the best. I mean, we've talked about that many times. But what do you think Justin Tucker did on the sidelines when Travis Kelce scores that first touchdown and Mahomes walks down the field? Do you think he, holy shit, I just lost the game before the game started?
Oh, that's on me, boys. I'll put a hand up. Yeah, I pissed them off. Yeah. They came in pissed. I don't know if you guys heard that. Entering the building, not happy. And then, I potentially tried to roll an ankle or two. Helmet on the ground, by the way. Can't have it. Practice, cannot have helmets on the ground. It's like one of the biggest fears in football is helmet on the ground. So him and Blaine doing dropbacks with a helmet that close. Actually, as I was watching the video, kind of got me like a little bit uncomfortable almost because specialists on the sideline, helmet, we're taking a lot of knees during practice. So you'll see some young buck like that's in training camp or something. Deep ball will come down the sideline, and we're all getting up, and they leave their helmet. And it's like, you're getting cut tomorrow. Hey, don't ever leave your helmet anywhere.